when you put that away and it toughens up in your cubby, you're going to be working on a head. Everybody will get a ball of clay the same size as your pinch pot. You get it all into one ball, and I'm going to show you how to make a jackal. There are 4 different heads, remember that. The jackal, the falcon, the human, and the baboon. This is the jackal. You get it in a ball. You hold it in your hand. You stick your thumb in. Pinch it around a little bit. Okay, just a little bit. You want a lot of clay around here, like an inch of a thick. Inch thick. Then what you're going to do is you're going to grab it and you're going to pull out a snout, like a German Shepherd nose. Yes. And you're going to pull up an ear and another ear. So you basically have pinched a really, really raw form. You know, it's in its rough. It's in its roughness. And it's kind of like a little finger puppet. Now I'm going to show you something. See how thick this is? You can't leave it like that. You're going to take your finger like this. And you're going to put your finger in there in the snout. Hold the snout like this and stick your finger in it. So your finger's in here like a little puppet. Do you see that? What's happening is if it was left undone, this would blow up in the kiln. We cannot have anything thicker than 3/4 of an inch. That's the rule. Nothing thinner than 1/4 of an inch or it will crack. Nothing thicker than 3/4 or it will explode and break. Okay, so I've stuck my finger in there. Now it's hollow. I pull it out. I make sure that this is a really nice form, smooth all over it. I could, if I wanted to, I could make ferocious teeth right here and scratch teeth in. I can take my 2 fingers like this and go boing for jackal eyes and score in little tiny, teeny little marble balls of clay. Little tiny balls of clay. And score it. Score, score, score. Score, score. Crisscross. A little bit of some nice slurry. A little bit in there. Look at that. With just a little ball that was inserted in there. It looks more like an eyeball, doesn't it? I could, if I wanted to, scratch like this and make, you know, a mouth. I could do jagged teeth like this, up and down, and scratch like that. Or I could even open up the mouth like this if I wanted. And you can put in and score in ferocious teeth in here in this jackal. Just make sure. Do you remember how I stuck my finger in there like that? I see a hole there now. Since I opened it up, can't have that. A little slurry. Right in there like that. Little scratching. Little clay. Plug that hole up. Plug that hole, making sure. There. Okay. So I could score if I wanted teeth in here and finish the eyeball and really, really perfect this. I have made this jackal head really, really quick. You would work a whole entire period on one head. I'm just showing you basically how you can squeeze and make a jackal head. You'd want to smooth and smooth and smooth for a long time. Okay? When you do end up getting done with this, what's going to happen is you're going to make your walls 1/2 of an inch thick. I didn't need to put my fingers in there because do you remember what I did? I opened up my mouth on this one. If you do not open up your mouth, you do need to put your finger in and hollow that out. Then what ends up happening is we are going to, when it's time, we are going to score our heads and connect them onto our jar. We have to make sure everything's really firm though. But what would happen is, after these heads are made, and they're really super nice, we would connect our heads onto our jar. Then what happens is the teacher is going to cut them off for you. Okay? I'm going to show you one more thing. If you were to make actually a human head, I'll show you how to make the human head. Okay? I'm going to squish this up right now. Well, you know what? I'll just leave that on there so you can take a look at that. I just ran out of clay. Let me grab some more. Okay, so what we have here is I showed you basically how you would make a head. You start off with a ball, put your thumb in just like a pinch pot, but I pulled out the snout and I pulled up the ear and I pulled up the ear, and then of course you'd work for a long time smoothing, and I poked 2 holes and I rolled one little ball and scored and slurred it in here for the eyeball. Okay, I will do the same for here. I might even take a bunch of teeth and score and slurry them and just make this super, super smooth. When you look in here, look at how much clay is in there. I pinched. I made sure this is not full of clay in here, that it's all about a 1/2 inch thick. Okay? Now that is how you would make a jackal head. Now, I'm going to put the jar over here. I'm going to show you how to make a falcon. The falcon is the easiest of all. You get a ball of clay, you hold it in your hand, and you stick your thumb in, pinch only a slight little bit, just a little, because you want your walls super thick. Okay, then what you do is you're going to make a beak. On the top of the head of a falcon, it's a flat top. You know the flat top haircuts? Very flat. Well, tap it. It's flat. And you pull out a bird's beak. Okay? Spray. What we got here is a flat top, a bird's beak, and I'm going to put 2 eyes there. Okay? And I'm going to work and work on this. On a falcon, I didn't know if you knew, but there's this, besides the beak going down up here, if you look on the internet, I looked, there's like almost like this little part of the beak that looks like a tooth back here. It's really interesting. It kind of goes up and then has this part that's sharp right here like this. It's really interesting how that is. Can you see that? Okay, on a falcon, they have that. Okay, so you would want to smooth this a lot. If it ever sinks in, you just take your finger and push it back out. Okay? Great. Wonderful. And of course, when this is perfected, you would get in here and you don't want to leave it like this. You want to make sure all of your walls are a 1/2 inch thick. Bring it out. I want it nice and thick. We don't need to go into the beak on this one because this is thin. This is not 3/4 inch thick. It's about a 1/2 inch thick. If it was a big honking beak, you would need to get your finger in there and do the hollow out thing like I showed you in the snout of the jackal. Okay, on here, I would put 2 little balls in those eyes. Oh, I would take my time and take my needle and I'd make feathers in here, decorations of feathers, because birds are so beautiful with their feathers. Do you see that? I just draw feathers all over the head of the falcon. And that's basically how you make a falcon head. Okay? You can do all kinds of things to it to make it look even more of a falcon just by studying a picture off the internet. Okay, there's the falcon.